Hey, John, can you hear me? Hey, hey, stop.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen, you're going to be in Anchorage here pretty soon, right?
Well, we leave on Monday. Yeah, we start
Okay.
driving on Monday.
How long are you going to be up here?
We get there by the 6th of
July.
July, and then we're flying out on the 10th.
Okay. Hey, listen, you may be preoccupied, but I would love to take you and your daughter out to dinner.
Okay, well, I'll let you know. I don't know how busy we're gonna be
Yeah.
because she has to find an apartment. She did get a job, so she's gonna start a job on Monday.
And
On
why is she coming to Alaska?
She wants a change of scenery. She has been to Alaska a couple times and she really likes it. She thinks it's
Okay.
very pretty.
Yeah.
So she wants to yeah, be independent, you know.
Yeah. Is she used to winters?
Well, yeah, she's used to winters here.
Because
She'll
it gets down to 20, 30 below, you know?
Yeah, well, she's in Anchorage. I don't think it's as bad.
No, it isn't. It'll get down to about maybe 20 at times, but as a whole, the winters are about 20 degrees.
Yeah. Well, she'll learn. She'll find
Yeah.
out.
Okay. Is that your only child?
No, no, I got four. So
Oh,
she's
wow.
the third child who is moving up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you have my phone number, right?
You'll have to send it to me. Yeah, I don't think I have it. So yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you because she's up here like that on her own. In any way I can help her out.
Well, she has some friends from the seminary who moved up there or who or were from there. So she has a good
Oh,
friend there. So yeah.
okay, good. Okay, all right. Yeah, because
All right.
I've been up here on and off since 1971.
Oh wow, you're a long-term Alaskan. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, they called me yeah. Sometimes they call that a sourdough. But anyway, that trip to Alcan, though, I want to tell you, is probably the most fantastic trip in the world.
Okay.
Really,
Well, we're
it's
looking
amazing.
forward to it. We're looking forward
Okay,
to it. Yeah.
well, okay, well, hopefully we can connect. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, let's get started here. So we're in verse 31 of Genesis 19. And let's divide it. If somebody can read the first part up to the Atnach right here, and if somebody can read the second part, okay? Don, you want to read the first part?
yeah. I'll read the second part.
Okay, very good.
Vat Omer. Now, could you clarify what I say? Vat Omer?
No, just Vatomer.
Vat Omer. Okay.
Yeah, the aleph here is really not functioning. It's what we call the task quiesced. It's as if it's not there. So we just ignore it. Vatomer.
Okay. Vat Omer. Habkira.
Habechira, yeah.
Habkira. El Hatzi. Hatzira.
Hatzeira.
Hatzira.
So both in the bet and in the tzade, so of Habechira and Hatzeira, there is a dagesh in the consonant, so we have to vocalize the shava. Hatzeira.
Okay. Avinu Zaken.
Zaken. Good. Good.
Vaish, um, let me see, I, Ayin,
Ein.
Ain, uh, Baars, Lavo,
Mhm.
Lavo,
Mhm.
Alenu, Alenu,
Alenu, yeah.
Alenu, yeah. Kada Raka.
Kederech.
Oh yeah, that's a Kada Derek.
Kederech, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, ha Haaretz.
Yeah, Kol Haaretz. Okay, good.
Kol Haaretz.
So here it's Vatomer, and we have two figures. And look at the way the word is constructed. Bechira and Tseira. It's kind of the same way. And so here, Bechira, Bechor is the firstborn. Here, the feminine form, Bechira, is the firstborn. So the firstborn female, and then the younger one. And so he has two daughters, and the firstborn now says to the younger one, our father is old, Avinu Zaken. Just a statement, a fact, he's old. And why is that important is that they're saying here, there is not a man in the land to come to us, meaning, well, you know what happened to their fiancés. They didn't want to come. They were not yet married, but they didn't want to come with them to leave. They thought it was ridiculous, and so they realized now we don't have fiancés. We don't have a man that who will come to us upon us like the way of all the earth. It's just an idiom saying is, we're not going to get married here, or we're not going to be able to belong to a man and then have a family. And so that's the consternation that they have. Also, the fact that they had to leave everything behind. I mean, they left literally with the shirt on their back, right? That's all they had. So a chance for a bride price and a dowry has been completely diminished. And so that doesn't make them, as in that society, as good candidates for marriage. So they're entering this with their eyes open, and they're realizing they're in a bad state, at least for them, socially. All right, let's go to 32. It's a shorter verse. If somebody can read the first part, and then somebody can read the last part. So up to the Atnach, and then after the Atnach. We have volunteers. Okay. Okay, Paul, yeah, feel free. You're still muted.
My computer is giving me a lot of grief this morning. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
yeah, no problem.
Laka
Mhm.
nash ke et avinu yehen
Yayin. Yayin.
yayin. There we go. The good stuff.
Yeah.
Yayin vanish kava imo.
Imo, yeah. And then the last part is unechaye me avinu zara. And so it starts with really an invitation. Lecha really is saying come, and it's saying come and let us. Shaka is to drink, but here in the Hifel it's to cause to drink or to give to drink. So so here let us, and I translate it as a cohortative, let us make or give our father wine. Let us give our father wine to drink, with the idea, we'll make him very happy there with the drink. And then they have the idea, and let us lie down with him, and let us preserve seed by our father. By our father. I would translate the min here on me avenu as a particle of agent, a preposition of agent here. So that's the only solution that they can come up with. It's a very strange solution. It's not a biblical solution. I think clearly, as they have moved away from Abraham and lived in Sodom and Gomorrah, they were not thinking biblically anymore. Definitely not the daughters. And they are, the first thing would be is to pray, I think. You need to pray. You need to approach God, say, what do we do now? Because they're too scared to live in Zoar, and they're living in a cave. We need to go before God and see if he can give a solution. But they are, what we see in a number of occasions, not just them, because I don't want to put too much blame on them. I mean, mark that they're an aberration of that. We see on a regular basis people in Genesis, and people today also, of course, take things in their own hands, think that they have the solution, and we quickly have to do this, and that's what we see here. So so I see here then a hifel, a cohortative, first common plural from shaka, and here it's again not a hifel but a kal, but cohortative, first common plural from shachav. This one is again a first common plural, but it is a PL. It's a PL imperfect, cohortative. And let us preserve seed by our father. So again, a cohortative. So 3 times we have a cohortative. That's the resolution that they come up with. Let us do this. All right,
I have a question.
Yep.
On Vanishkava in verse 32.
Yep.
I didn't say that quite right, but you know what we're looking at.
Yeah, Vanishkava.
Where does that ni come from? If that's a call.
Yeah, the ni, that's the first common plural preformative.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, we might think it's something else, right? Like a nifal or something like that, but it's not. Yeah. All right, let's go to 33 again. Can I have somebody read it up to the Atnach and somebody after the Atnach? Okay, Andrew, thank you. Up to the Atnach, which is word who here, and then after the Atnach, somebody?
Mark.
Okay, Mark, thank you.
All right. Vatash Cain et
wait. Patashkena. Patashkena. Yeah, it's kind of very strange to have it done like that. We normally expected a nun, comets, and a hey, but sometimes it's written what we call defectively. It's still pronounced the same. You don't hear the difference, but it's just written like that. Yeah.
Vatashkena et avihen yayin balayla hu.
And you'll see there is a note here that a number, some of the rabbis or scribes thought this was wrong and that it should have been balayla hahu, which that's what it would have been normally grammatically, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So, but that's why there is that note here. Okay, Mark.
Okay, va tavu. Okay, haba kirach. Va to
Vati.
Oh, okay. Where am I? Okay. Oh, yeah. Vati Shabav.
Vatishkav.
Kav. Oh, yeah. That's not a bait. Okay. I'm sorry. Et Javier.
Aviha. Yeah.
Aviha. Okay. Volo Yada.
Velo. Yeah.
Volo Yada.
Mhm.
Bo.
Ba.
Oh, but yeah. Bash. Kova.
Bashif. Bashichba.
Bash.
Bashichva.
Okay. Okay. Vaba Kuma.
Uvakumach.
Well,
Uvakumach.
yeah, that's the Shurik, right? Okay. Okay. I'm getting there.
Yep. Yep. So here then, Vatishkena, they had said, let us do this, let us nashke, and they gave their father wine to drink in that night. So normally, when there is a demonstrative pronoun, it will agree with the noun. And if the noun is definite, then the pronoun would be definite. And for some reason, we have left out the definite article of what we have here, in that night. So it's a little bit strange, and that's why we have that that note there, that there should be a ha there. Anyway.
Dr. Verbruggen?
Yeah.
Could it be that who modifies yayin?
It would have to be right after that.
Okay.
And you don't have the demonstrative pronoun in a attributive way without the definite article, but it's always definite, so it would always have to be
Okay.
definite. So yeah. And so they carry out the plan to give their father wine to drink at that night, and then the oldest, the firstborn, came, and she laid down with her father, and he did not know when she was lying down or when she is rising up. So here we have these two verbs with a bet preposition. So when you have a verb with a preposition, it can only be two things. It either has to be a participle or it has to be an infinitive construct.
Mm.
And here, it's an infinitive construct. The form doesn't look like a participle. And then they have a suffix, a third feminine singular suffix, both of them. And so a suffix on an infinitive construct can have two functions. It can be an objective suffix or a subjective suffix, meaning, is it the object of the verb or is it the subject of the verb? And here it is a subject. So he did not know when she was lying down or when she was rising up. So why is this here? Why is this being explained here? What do you think? Why does this phrase "velo yada b'shifbach uver komach"? Why do we need it there?
Does it preserve Lot's integrity somehow?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, and it also kind of, so they gave him some wine. What do you mean with that? Well, they gave him enough wine so that he wouldn't know. So it kind of, both, you're right, it preserves somewhat of his integrity. He was oblivious to it because, well, maybe not completely. You shouldn't get yourself drunk, right? You shouldn't drink that much that you don't know what's happening. That's already, he should have had enough there. But again, yeah, things have gone sideways for Lot in a number of ways. And this is one of the ways.
This reminds me of Noah.
Yeah.
It seems like a similar situation playing out.
Yeah. At least with Noah, you could say he came out with a high note, right? He had preserved mankind through the ark on the instruction of the Lord, and then they went out. He builds a vineyard and he gets drunk. Not a very smart thing to do. Now, Lot also, you could say, he came out, with Abraham into the land. He was obedient there, and then he separates and he picks the place of Sodom and Gomorrah to settle. Not a smart thing to do. And of course, then he gets drunk also. So yeah, very similar things there. All right, let's go to 34. 34 is a bit longer. If I can have somebody read it up to the Zakev Katon here. And then after the Zakev Katon, maybe to the Revia. And then somebody after the Revia to the end. Do I have a
I'll
first?
take the first. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Don, you can take the first. Andrew, you can take the second part up to the Revia. And then do I have a third volunteer?
I could try again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Paul. To the end then.
Could you please point out the Zakev Katon again?
Okay. So yeah, here, right here, the Zakev Katon. Yeah.
Ready. Vayahi Mimachara.
Yeah. So remember, this is now a Chat of Kametz. And the rule says the Kametz before the Chat of Kametz is the Kametz Hatuf. So we would have to say Mimochorat. Mimochorat.
Orat. Vatomer Habikira Habira. Let me try that one again.
Yeah. Habachira.
Habakira. Okay. El Hatzira.
Hatzaira. Yeah. Hatzaira. Good.
Hen Shekavti Emesh Et Avi Nashkenu Yain Gam Halila.
Good. Good.
Uvoi Shechvi Imo Unechaya Me Avinu Zara.
Yeah. Yeah. So it ends with the same line as we've had before. Unechaya Me Avenu Zara. So here, and it was really in the next morning, in the next day, and the firstborn said to the younger one, and then she said, "Behold, I lay down with my father last night, Emesh." And so now she comes up with a plan. I've done that. Now it's your turn. And then she says, Nashkenu, Nashkenu. So we had something similar earlier in the verb, in the passage, but then it was just Nashke. So this time, it's a more condensed version. Instead of saying Nashke et Avinu, they just say Nashkenu. Let us give him wine to drink also tonight. So it's the hifel, cohortative, first common plural, with a third masculine singular suffix and a nun energicum. So the nun here is that nun energicum that we have. And it just is sometimes a connecting part between the suffix and the verb. So let us give him wine to drink also tonight. And then the older one is continuing her speech and tells the younger one, and go and lie down with him. So these are two commands, second feminine singular, both in the kal, and so that we will preserve seed by our father. So again, that's the hope that they will that they have with this. So one night was the oldest one, and then the second night was for the younger one. So this is not like, oops, it's premeditated. They wanted to do that. That was their plan. They think that's a good solution, and but it is very much devoid of God. It is pure utilitarian. This will work for us. And don't want to put too much blame. I think sometimes Christians do the same thing, that we have a problem. Let's come up with a solution, and we are forgetting the Lord in the whole equation, because we want to be expedient. We think we have a time frame that we need to follow because it's now or not, and we make hasty decisions that are not wise. And anyway, so much for my sermonizing. Yes, Andrew.
I appreciate it. Would you scroll up just a little bit again for me?
Yep.
I had a question about the noon energicum.
Yep.
I feel like I have a hard time recognizing them if it's a common plural suffix,
Yep.
or if, any tips on that?
So the ennu, it looks exactly the same as a first common plural with a noon energicum. They're exactly the same. So in that case, we have to rely on context. So it cannot be, let us make us drunk, or let us give us wine to drink. I think it's clearly him. The context makes it clear. But you're right, that's where there is a conflation of the first common plural with the noon energicum suffix and the third masculine singular suffix with the noon energicum. They're exactly the same. And I think I do bring that out in my workbook on, I quickly find it.
Yeah, I'm realizing I have to go back and look at some old chapters because I'm hitting new snags that apparently I haven't mastered like I thought I did.
Yeah, it's on page 129.
129.
Yeah, and you see ennu is the same for the third masculine singular as for the first common plural. So it's the same pattern.
Key.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's go to 35. Any more volunteers, or should I read it? Okay, I'll read it. So here, Vatashkena gam balayla hahu et avihen yayin. Vatakom hatzaira batishkav imo velo yada b'shichbah ubekumah. And so here it's almost identical, right, to what we had before, and they gave they gave their father wine to drink also that night. Balayla hahu. Look at this. Here we have it perfectly. In the earlier phrase, we just had balayla hu, but here we have balayla hahu. That's how we expected it to be. So that's why the earlier scribes made a note, hey, it should be hahu. And then the youngest one rose up and she lay down with him, meaning her father, and he did not know when she lay down and when she rose up. Again, it's 2 nights in a row. He didn't caught on that actually they fed him too much wine and that they did something. That is yeah, go ahead.
Is there a play on words with yada? Because it can have connotations.
Yeah, it is. I thought of that the earlier one. He didn't know, but they did know him, right?
right?
Yeah. No, I think you're right in that. I didn't. It's kind of they're playing with words here. Yeah.
It feels like they're playing with words. I'm
Yeah,
not trying to
yeah.
read into it.
Yeah, he didn't know, but they knew him. So yeah, that's clearly what is being explained here. Yeah. All right. And then we have the very long. Okay, hold on. Let me try to mute. I can't mute him. Okay. Mark, mute your microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will. Yeah.
So now we have the very long verse 36. Yeah, Paul, you want to read that?
I could take that one. Yeah. I'm still going to butcher it, but I'll give it a shot. Vatahari na.
Yeah, this is a tricky one, right? Because it looks like a hirk, but it's actually an accent. So Vataharena.
Okay, yeah. Shete vanut lot me avihen.
Yeah, Vanot lot me avihen. Yeah. And so it says here, and the two daughters of Lot became pregnant from or by their father. So that's the result. We hadn't been told, so we were told the first one slept with the father, and then the second one. And what happened? Now we see that indeed they immediately became pregnant by their father, and then we'll see in 37 and 38 what the result of that is. I'll read 37. Vatelet Abechira ben Vatikra Shemo Moav Hu Avi Moav Ad Hayom. And so the firstborn daughter gave birth to a son, and she called his name Moab. And I wonder if Moab is meant to be kind of a pun on from the father, you know. So, and he is the father of Moab, meaning the people of Moab, ad hayom, until today. So whenever the person was writing this, you know, he is now saying that's how it is still today. You know, we still have those people around us. All right. So Vateled, it's from Yalad. Yalad, it's a first vav verb, really. And the first vav verbs lose that yod that shows up in the lexical form of the third masculine singular perfect, but we lose that in the imperfect and definitely also with the Vaiktol. So that's why we only have two consonants there, but it's from Yalad. That's it, what we have. And I'll read 38 also. V'hatz ira gam hi yalada ben. Vatikra shemo ben ami. Hu avi bene Ammon ad hayom. So very much parallel to verse 37. And the younger one also, she gave birth to a son. And she called his name the son of my people, really. Which is, I take it, it's the same thing, kind of referring that their father was actually the father of this child then, you know. And he is the father of the Bnei Ammon, the Ammonites. Just like we call the Bnei Yisrael, the Israelites, Bnei Ammon would be the Ammonites up until today. So it recounts quickly where those two people groups come from, the Moabites and the Ammonites. They're related to Abraham, you know, through Lot, and later on, when the people of Israel come out of Egypt, the Lord tells them to be very careful around them because they're related, and so they are not just able to sweep in and do whatever they want to with them. Questions?
Do you
I
think
was-
this? Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Paul. You go ahead.
I was just thinking, Ruth came from the Moabites, and that means that
Yeah.
she's definitely in the line of Jesus. So
Yeah.
both Abraham and Lot feed
Yeah.
into the messianic line.
Good remark. Good remark. Yeah. Andrew.
Do you think this is being used as a treatise against the Ammonites and the Moabites? That you're the children of incest and gross you are? Is that reading into it, or is that?
It's more like the line didn't come through Lot. Okay, so the promise is to Abraham, and so they're still related. They're still family of Abraham, but God was going to go work through the descendants of Abraham and not through the descendants of Lot. Not sure. I think it's more explaining how they are related, because later on in the story, in Exodus, it is important, or Exodus, I should say, Numbers is better. It is important because they're kind of facing them, and they have to go around. They have to go way around, so as not to cross their territory. So I don't know. I don't think I see any reference later on saying you guys are, have a suspicious beginning, so therefore, we don't want to have anything to do with you. Unless you can come up with a text. I can't recall any text like that. So
I read other ones that are similar, like the sons of Noah, and it's like, well, that's the Canaanites. They're the bad guys, and if we agree with the thesis that the earliest audience was those in the desert receiving the Pentateuch from Joshua or Moses, or then that's kind of like a building the landscape that they're about to enter into as nations.
Yeah. On a regular basis, you find all these nations being mentioned, but often it's the Girgashites and the Hittites, and they're not related, and it's kind of naming those nations whom they should push out, because they, or the Amalekites, all of these nations that need to be pushed out, but not so with Moab and with Ammon. So there is still a certain reservation for that, because they are related to Abram. All right, let's go to 20. We have time. So let's go to 20. And so do I have a volunteer again? We'll divide it this way, up to the Zakef Katon, and then after the Zakef Katon.
I'll take the first part.
Thank you.
Vayisa Isham.
Misham, yeah.
Oh, Misham, sorry. Avraham. Artsa.
Yeah.
Hanegav.
Hanegev.
Oh, the Negev. Okay.
Yeah, Hanegev. Yeah. And somebody who read the last part.
Sorry.
Okay, Paul, thank you.
Okay. Vayeshev.
Vayeshev.
Got it. Vayeshev Bain Kadesh.
Kadesh, good.
Uvain Sur.
Shur.
Vayagar.
Yeah, this is tricky again, because the second one is a Kamesh Chatuv. Vayagor.
Okay. Vayagor Bigra.
Bigrar, yeah, Bigrar. So here from Nasa, Nun Samek Ayin, so it's not Nun Sin He or Aleph, is from Nasa to start out to travel. And so Abram traveled from there towards the land of the Negev. That's why we have Artsa. There is a hey directive towards the land of the Negev. Artsa. And then it says Vayeshev, again from Yashav. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I'm sorry. So the word towards is not even in the text. It's just
No, the hey directive tells you.
Okay.
So we have,
Cool.
for instance, Tzafon, north. We could say Tzafona, that's towards the north. Or we have the word Mitzrayim. We could say Mitzrayimah, towards Egypt. Or Yerushalayim, Yerushalayimah, towards Jerusalem. Just by adding a kametz hey at the end that doesn't draw the accent, it's the hey directive, and it tells us even very simple is we have bayit, we could say baita, homewards.
Yeah.
Homewards. Yeah.
So is the gloss always towards, or is there any other?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how we do. Yeah, towards the land of the Negev here, towards the north. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
When you say always, got to be careful. That's the best way I do it. The easiest way that I explain that. Can we translate it different? Is it translated different? I'm sure sometimes they would just say to the land of the Negev, but there is no to. Same. It's just the same as towards, I guess. Yeah. So, and he dwelled between Kadesh and between Shur. So those are two places in the Negev. And then it says, and he sojourned in Gerar. And Gerar is to the west of Beersheba. So it's in that Negev region there. That it's a city there. So I take it that actually he was going with his flock around Kadesh and Shur, and then he resided into the city, because it's used a little bit different here, terminology in Gerar for some time. And of course, that sets us up with the confrontation between the king of Gerar and Abraham. All right, let's go to verse 2.
I'll try.
Yeah, do it up to the Atnach right here.
Okay.
And if somebody can read it after the Atnach to the end of the verse. Yeah.
Okay. Vayomer Abraham El Sharach.
No, Sarah, with the sin, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. Sarah. Ishtov. Achati.
Achoti.
Oh, yeah. Achote.
He.
He.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. So we have this in a lot in Genesis, where we have He, Vav, Aleph, but then with the Chirik. And this is what we call a Ketif Kere Perpetuum, meaning this is what is written, but you should read it differently. And normally a Ketif Kere, what is written and what should be read, is marked in the margin. But it occurs so many times that the rabbi said, about this, we're not going to mark this. They marked it in a special book called the Mesorah, but they didn't mark it in the margin of the manuscript anymore because it happened too many times. So this is the third feminine singular independent personal pronoun, he, but it's written defectively. And again, because if you look at the way the Yod and the Vav were written over times, there is a time where they came very close. And I think there is just confusion as to what it was, how it should be. So one copyist, I think, had a problem with it, or several copyists that didn't see that anyway. and they wanted to be very, strict with the text, but I think they confused the yod and the vav. In Qumran, you have the similar problems. Yod and vavs are very, very close in those days too. All right, and then did we have somebody reading the last part?
I could try.
Okay.
Vayishlach Avimelech.
Avimelech. Yeah, Avimelech.
I see it. Melech Gerar Vayakach et Sarah.
Yeah. And so we talked about in chapter 19 how they took their fate in their own hands. Well, Abram does it again here. And Abram said to Sarah, his wife, she's my sister. It's kind of strange, why do you say that to your wife? It would have been more logically, you are my sister. But what is really being said is Abram said to his wife, and he'd done it before in chapter 12, say that you're my sister, that she's my sister. I will say that. And so that's what he recounts to really, and it seemed like something is left out here to the king, because as this is being declared, she's my sister, Avimelech, the king of Gerar, sends for her and takes Sarah. Okay, she's a sister. I can get connected with this man by taking this woman as my wife. Vayishlach, regular call from shalach, so not really a problem. Vayikach is from lakach, so we often lakach often acts like it's a first nun, which then gets assimilated into the kof, so no questions there. All right, let's go to 3. Again, up to the Atnach, and if somebody can read it after the Atnach. Any volunteers? Okay, so I'll read it. Vayavo Elohim el Avimelech bachalom halayla. Vayomer lo hinecha met al haisha asher lakachta vehi beulat Baal. And so the Lord came, Vayavo, the Lord came to Avimelech, Bachalom, in a dream of the night. And I say in a dream. The patach here underneath the bet is not the definite article. It would normally have been a shavah, but then the second shavah rule comes into place, where we have a shavah followed by a chataf vowel. Then the shavah, the first shavah, will change to the corresponding short vowel. So we have a chataf patach, so this changed to a patach. It's not a definite article because it's in construct. This is in construct with the next word. In a dream of the night, in a dream of the night. And he said to him, behold, you are a dead one on account of the woman whom you have taken. And she is married to a husband, meaning she's a married woman. You can do that. So beulat is a passive participle, feminine singular construct, really. And so, or not construct, absolute. She is married to a husband. Baal. Baal is another word for husband. Later on, of course, in the prophets, they will say, you will not name each other anymore Baal, but you will say Ishti or Ish. He doesn't want to hear that word Baal anymore because it's also is referring to the god, and so that's, but it's a common a common word. Actually, in modern Hebrew, they still say Baal. Baali, my husband. So it's kind of strange. They haven't taken that out when they revived modern Hebrew. So he pronounces judgment, and he reveals to the king of Gerar that there is a problem with the woman he took because she is married. Any comments?
I think that Abraham is doing something similar to what Lot's daughters did in his own way, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
we were-
He's seeing a problem, and he's creating his own solution. He's not, and you know, it was even so like that in chapter 12, when God had just given him a promise. You know, I'm going to do this. You're going to have a large. I'm going to make you great. You're going to be a great nation. You're going to be a blessing. And he goes out, and immediately he lies. He has to go to Egypt, and he lies to Pharaoh and says, "Tell them you're my sister, otherwise you're going to kill me." And I'm thinking, didn't just God told you he would make you a great nation? But it's very human. That's what I like in the story. We often get just walloped with problems, and instead of going to God and thinking clearly about things, we are trying to fix it quickly. And that is not what we should do. We should always stop and approach God when we have a problem and see what his solution is and not our solution. All right. Let's go to 4. And in 4, I'll read it. Avimelech lo karav eleha vayomar Adonai hagoy gam tzadik taharog. And so now it says here, it's kind of an aside, because we don't have a vayiktos. We have now a katal form, an ex-katal, meaning there is something before the perfect. So this is an aside, and it says, and Abimelech had not approached her. He had not gotten near to her. So she had not been violated yet, okay? And so, and he said, "Oh, my lords, will you kill a righteous one? Will you also kill a righteous one?" Now, it's the goy here. It's kind of strange. Either we have to read it as, "Oh, my lord, will you also kill a righteous people?" A righteous people. and I mean, that's the best I can do, but it's strange because God said, "Hinecha met," you are dead. You know, or you will die. I think it's just you are dead. You're a dead one. It doesn't say you're a dead people. You are a dead one. And now Abimelech perceives this, that the judgment has not just come upon him, but upon all his people. And of course, we will see further on that there is something to it. But it's a little bit, as we read, we are left a little bit like, what's going on here? Because we are not yet given the information. We've just been told you're a dead one. And now he immediately applies it to, will you even kill a righteous nation? Taking it to the whole nation. And so we'll see. Yeah.
Is there any connection? Maybe the audience thinks that he's heard about Sodom. Maybe because of that connection? Is there any possibility there?
I wouldn't be surprised if Abram could see what had happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't think news would have stayed, and they're not that far from that place, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. Literary, I mean, biblically, from the text, we cannot make that decision, but logically, we would have to say, yes, of course, he knows about it. So it's not, we don't have a text says, and messengers came to the king of Gerar, but, you know, people travel through these regions, they would have shared that. Yeah. All right, let's go to 5. Any volunteers? Okay, Andrew, if you can read it up to the Atnach right here. And if somebody can read the last part to the end, so the second line here.
I can try.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hello, hu, amar li, achoti, hiv.
Yeah, here we just say he. We read the vav and it's a yod. So it's a chirek yod. He, yeah.
Hi, vahi gam hi, amara,
Amara.
mara, ahi, hu.
Betam lavavi uva nik yon
Benikyon, yeah.
cafe asiti.
Kapai.
Oh
Kapai.
yeah, I see that. Kapai asiti zot.
Yeah, yeah. And so now we are given some information that we didn't know before. The only thing that we saw, I think it was in verse 2, when he says, Achotihi. And you know, and it's even stated kind of funny. We mentioned that, you know, and Abram said to his wife, she's my sister, but it seems to be that there is something missing in that whole section. And here it gets filled in a little bit. Didn't he say to me, she is my sister? And also even she said, he is my brother. So they both fudged on the truth a bit there and portrayed themselves as brother and sister. And so that's the king of Gerar is saying, look, both of them vowed that they were siblings. And that's his conclusion. In the integrity of my heart and in innocence of my hands, I have done this. So Tam, but actually I should have, it should have been Betom. Sorry. It should have been a Kamesh Hatuf, and I didn't catch that. Betom levavi, in the innocence, in the integrity of my heart and in the innocence of my hands, my palms, I have done this. So he's saying really, I had no clue. I thought, you know, I was acting upright by trying to marry this lady. And again, when I say marry, it's a bit. It could have been a lot more murky back then, you know, how they dealt with that. I mean, we have to go to City Hall to get the marriage confirmed. We will also normally go to the church and among our faith community, we'll tell people, okay, I'm marrying this lady and she's marrying me. And so that everybody knows, you know, that's not happening in those days. If you were well off, and I wouldn't be surprised, it doesn't say, but I wouldn't be surprised that Abram got some money as a bride price, which he then maybe, I mean, that's how we normally do. You know, the family gives a bride price, and then or is given a bride price for the woman, and then they use that bride price to make a dowry, so that if the husband dies, the woman later on in life will be able to survive based on the dowry. That's how it's normally done in well-to-do families. Abram was well-to-do. I expect that to have been done. It's not stated, so I'm kind of extrapolating here, or you could even say reading in, but that's what I would expect in well-to-do. I mean, the king is well-to-do. Abram was well-to-do. Normally, you have that. Even if it's very fast, you have that being done. Anyway, I ran out of time here. We'll have to wait to see what goes further. But I want to remind you, I will not be able to meet next week or the meet after that because of my trip to Alaska. So I will try to, let people know that we'll take a small hiatus. And then I'm going to mark it here. We'll pick up again in 20 verse 6. All right. Thank you for being part of this, and keep reading. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Yep. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you.